Hello everyone, this is your boy, The Corner, Henry's Corner. Today I have an interesting thing to share with us. I have my Bible here with me. You know that popular saying that says, what God cannot do does not exist. The statements is describing how big, how mighty our God is. That statement is emphasizing the omnipotence of our God. And if you check some scripture like Luke 1:37 to 42 to Genesis 18:14, Matthew 19:26, and Jeremiah 32:27. Jeremiah 32:27. We will see vividly, we will see clearly there where God says anything too hard for me to do. With God, all things are possible. So God is making reference to how mighty, how great, how immutable is omnipotent, that his purpose cannot be stopped. But today I'll be talking about what God cannot do really exists. So I'll be starting with what God cannot do. So Bible makes us to know that what God cannot do really do exist. And I want to make this video to be short as much as possible. So without so much ado, let's dive into it. Hebrews 6:18. So let's read Hebrews 6:18. Says that by two immutable things in which it was impossible for God to lie. So I put a stop here. You can see that the Bible make it clear here that it is impossible for what? God to lie, which imply that the God who served, the God of heaven, cannot lie. Whatsoever he said, he must come to pass. He is not like we, the Son of Man. We are full of ourselves. So the Bible makes me to know that God cannot lie. And you can check other scripture like 1 John 10, Romans 3:4. To the second point, which is James 1:13. Go to James 1:13. James 1:13. Also, I will read. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempt he any man. So James 1:13 stated to truth about what God cannot do. The first thing is God cannot be tempted, and God cannot tempt any man with evil. I am not doing word analysis in this video because I don't want it to be long. James 1:13 makes us to know that God to tempt me to test, that is, God is not testing any man. God cannot test any man. Neither will God test any man with evil. What are evil? Sicknesses and diseases are evil. Curse is evil. Lack is evil. And says God cannot tempt any man with evil, which means God cannot test you with sicknesses and diseases. God can test you with a curse. God cannot test you with any form of evil you can think of. God cannot do such. It is not because we are good, but it is because of who He is, His nature. So let's continue. The next Bible verse will be God cannot be mocked. You check Galatians 6 verse 7. Yeah, God does not tempt anyone with evil. God cannot die. If you check Deuteronomy 32 verse 39 to 40, God can't break His promise. All these are just by the way. The last point I will be talking about what God cannot do is that God. Let's read 1 John 4:9. 1 John 4:9. 1 John 4:19 rather. 1 John 4:19. It says, we love Him because He first loved us. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish, but of everlasting life. God's love for mankind is unconditional, agape. This 1 John 4:19 make me to understand that love begets love. There is a verse in the Bible that says that God commends His love towards us while we were yet sinners. Love is what God do for us.